Thanks. What if L&D didn't exist? Now, I don't think this is an improbable or an implausible future. Conversations I'm having suggest that L&D is struggling to maintain its relevance since COVID. And unlike some other parts of people and culture functions, L&D maybe feels like it's even slid backwards rather than moved forward. It's doubling down on a doom spiral of what we know doesn't work rather than evolving and reimagining. So many L&D teams I still talk to lament that people just don't want to learn. But in the projects I've been involved with, even just this year, where we carry out discovery conversations with learners, more on that problematic word later, it's abundantly clear that people do want to learn. And guess what? Not only that, but they are learning. But they're doing it in the ways that make sense to them. Things that are easy to find, don't require manager sign off, policy documents. So looking at YouTube videos, podcasts, they're asking their friends and family and colleagues, looking at their life experiences, and of course, ChatGPT. What a perfect segue from AJ's session. Put bluntly, this problem feels like a you problem, not a them problem. But let's take a step back. Before we delete L&D altogether, what even is the role of L&D in 2025 and beyond? Are we creators? I'm not convinced. The quality of material out in the world that everyone has free and easy access to is exceptional. And unless you're working in a very large organization with particularly large budgets to create immersive, personalized, experiential learning, some of the things we've heard about today, I wonder if you might be better spending your time in other places than just creating content. So are you curators? This feels maybe more relevant. L&D as the tastemakers and curators feels more useful in an overwhelming world of options combined with the enshittification of the internet, which will make the role of careful curation even more valuable. Which means that you also have to be communicators. Is L&D now more of a comms role, helping people ask the right questions and access and find what's good? Maybe. But I wonder how many L&D teams are actually asking themselves this question to really challenge the relevance and role of the L&D in 2025 in a world of ambiguity and stress and robots. Because if L&D hasn't been through this existential update to learning, to ways of working and approaches, they won't be updating those items either. And if your L&D teams are having, or actually won't be, maybe it's better to ask, are your L&D teams having animated, interesting, what if conversations littered with examples about what some of the best learning looks like? And no, that doesn't necessarily look like organizational learning. Are you talking about the Duolingo restaurant? Are you talking about Spotify's foray into courses? Are you talking about brain-computer interface technology and what all of this means for how people learn? So let's get back to my original provocation and imagine this future instead, one without L&D. Maybe everyone in this world has their own allocated pot of money to spend on subscriptions and books and courses that will help their current and future roles. They self-serve, maybe with the help of an AI or an AI agent, to find what's going to be most useful to them and when they need it. And in this dream world, each team maybe has a coach who works with them in the moment, following them to their team meetings, their one-on-ones, their feedback conversations, their planning meetings. And these coaches will have expertise in learning, adult development, psychology, futures thinking, and technology to help people more and more in a personalized and effective way every day. Because the people we're working with are people. They have full schedules, multiple relationships to balance, and complex human lives. They are not learners as their primary focus. And I know that usually that term of learners is used positively, but it also highlights a common challenge with L&D, that L&D often thinks that L&D is the most important thing that anyone should be doing in a day. And most organizational learning totally misses the reality of the environments that people exist in. It's too sanitized, it's too safe, and it exists, as a friend of mine uses this phrase, it becomes this kind of adult daycare center. It's too focused on events and content and rarely on embedding, and then we wonder why it doesn't stick. Because in 2024, I'm still hearing plenty of examples and see plenty of content online, which suggests that L&D is still ball aching over the wrong things. Getting content into LMSs, or which LMS to use in the first place, how we're collating completion data, how you're going to make people do the thing. Maybe gamification will help. Scaling things. And honestly, as soon as you're asking how to scale something, you're immediately making it not good. And look, I know from a lot of experience that a lot of organizations and leaders are dissatisfied with the L&D on offer in their organization. And yet they are completely allergic to the idea of doing something different or increasing the role of a manager and the role and the expectation of managers in the learning process. And therefore, we end up here, carrying on doing all the things that we know that don't work. And if this is the case, then maybe L&D deserves to be put in the bin for a while.